Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We good?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we good. I think we got it right now.
All right, all right.
Yeah, I think we got it right. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
2025 started
We,
off with a with some craziness. Um, I don't know how you felt about that.
what, it's 2025?
Well, not even just 2025, just the madness. The madness is just that took
Oh,
place.
yeah, yeah. The sickness that's in the world.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why I really didn't. I stopped going up for New Year's
Yes,
Eve and stuff
sir.
like that. I kind of like Well, before we even get into it, man, look, everybody that's tuning in, anybody that's going to tune in, we're just doing kind of like a trial run. We are coming back. 2025, we're gonna come back stronger, um, better, more knowledgeable about how we take different approaches to have these conversations. But more importantly, we want to be a blessing, not just to ourselves, but to those who we come encounter with.
Amen.
So if you are tuning in, welcome to the pre episode of Final Notice Podcast. We are streaming live on YouTube. We're on Facebook at Final Notice Podcast on Facebook. We're going to be on TikTok soon. Hopefully, they don't shut us down. And if they do, we're going to find another platform to jump on. But as of right now, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube. Um, yeah. So, but going back to what I was saying, I kind of like stopped from going out for New Year's Eve. You know what I'm saying? Only
Right.
because of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think people really I don't think a lot of us really pay attention to that. Nor should we have to live in that type of fear. I'm
Absolutely.
not I'm not saying
Absolutely.
live in fear, but you got to be cautious on how you live into as well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
First of all, rest in peace to those who did lose their lives and those who are injured. We're praying for speedy recovery. Um, but yeah, that's not a way that you want to start the year off. Um,
No.
with tragic news like that. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
think
that
this was the first year like me and my daughter sat down and watched the countdown together, right? Got my
mhm.
little fake bottle of champagne, which was basically grape juice or whatever. Got a little wine glasses and stuff. We watched the countdown. We counted down and hugged each other. And my daughter looked at me and said, I think I want to be there one day. I said, ain't enough money in the world. There's not enough money in the world you can pay me to be out. I said, looking at all them people, and then when you look at the screen, like so I was looking on the big screen. They got like a 65 inch. So when they hold the camera back, like you can see
Mhm.
blocks and blocks away. You can see all the people in the back. I was like, said some of them people have been there since like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the evening. You know what I'm saying? Like waiting to be there just to hit that ball. There's no way in the world. You couldn't pay me to be out there. Like somebody,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say you can't pay me. You can pay me to be out there, but it's gonna have to be a nice a lump sum of money for me to have to be out there. I'm gonna have to do. We have to do like the Final Notice podcast live or something for a bag or something to get me out there. There's no way in the world you're gonna have me out there for nothing.
yeah. To be honest with you, I looked at this whole situation like you got to pick and choose, man.
Yes,
You
sir.
got to pick and choose. I mean, I know. I said earlier you don't want to live in fear, but you got to live in caution. You got to live like nowadays. You got to live very cautiously,
It,
because you might be going out there to have a good time, but
mm-hmm.
that's somebody's way of hurting themselves and hurting those that they don't even know. We
Yeah.
can even talk about the guy that set the homeless lady on the train on fire
Oh
in New
my
York.
God. Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Great
think,
people, man. What
yeah,
would
you
you
think
say? I call it wisdom. You got to live in wisdom. You know, the Bible says that you can't tempt the Holy Spirit, man. You're not supposed to be testing, like vexing it, and putting it in the Holy Spirit in a conflict. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like, why would I put myself in an environment where one is not really even conducive to the Holy Spirit to thrive? You know, and that's how I
Mhm,
look at it. That's like I just had a end of the year coworker celebration, right? And a
mhm.
lot was like messing with me and teasing me, like, "Oh man, look, they got Bradshaw out here, Bradshaw out here." I say, man, it's not that I don't like having fun. It's just that this is not typically my idea of what I think fun is. Now it was okay because you can go out listen to music and we was like in an atmosphere. It was older people, more responsible people. They had like a live band there, and I love live bands and stuff like that in the music. But it's not something I can see myself doing like once a week or what I'm saying, once a month. Like those days is over. I left that in Coppin. You know what I'm saying? So now like my ideas of fun and the things I like to do is just different now. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoyed myself that night. First time in a long time I went outside, you know what I'm saying, as a kid, say touch grass and do something, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, no, I don't want to put myself in an environment where I'm stressing the Holy Spirit. I don't want to put myself in a situation where it's like the Matrix. I keep telling people life to me is like the Matrix. We talked about that last season on the pod, right? Mm-hmm. As long as any of those people are still tapped inside of the Matrix, me being a person, not saying that I'm better than anybody, but it's just saying like I'm just unplugged. I have a certain level of awareness in my relationship and how I live my life. Any of them people that still plugged in can be used. Mm-hmm. You on the train station, any of them people's agents, you know what I'm saying? They can be used by the system.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was I don't know. Like as I gotten older, I've started to understand why having that peace of mind is really important. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, you can go out there and all of that, you know what I'm saying, have a good time. But at some point when you get a little older, like you said, hey man, I just want to stay home. You know what I'm saying? I don't, if you're a drinker, you want to drink and be responsible, stay at home, you can do that. Or you can have some close family members come over, you can stay home and do that too as well. But to me, I've lost interest in being amongst the people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I've lost that, like for example, I'll go to Kroger's or I'll go to Publix. That's the kind of like they Safeway and Giant down here. And I'll go to like Walmart. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm in Walmart, down here in Georgia is a concealed, open carry. They can, open carry. You know what I'm saying? So when I go to the grocery stores, or when I go to especially Walmart.
Somebody ask me a question real quick. Do they have to have permits? Or it's like Florida, you don't even need a permit?
Nah, I think they still need permits. I think you still need a license.
In Florida, it's wild west in Florida.
Yeah, but I think to some degree, it's still easy to access. It's more accessible down here. Because when I go to Walmart, they be strapped. And I mean strapped. I've never gone into a Walmart down here since I moved down here and not see somebody not just say somebody, multiple people with their firearm attached to their waist. Right. Every time I go into Walmart, I see it and I'm like, man, I know they're probably saying they're gonna protect. They're carrying to protect themselves. But what if you don't want to flip out that day? What if, you know what I'm saying? What if you one of those people that, just got mad and just want to take it out on the rest of the world? You know what I'm saying? So I'll be, I look, get what I need to get, and I'm out of there. So I look at everybody like a suspect.
You know what it is? You know how I look at it?
What's that?
It's like one of my favorite heroes is Batman, right? Like in the comic stuff, right? And I love the Joker. It's weird. Like I love the Joker because he's like, to me, a very complex character to me. You know what I'm saying? But I remember they did this one thing. It was like this one bad day. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. All it takes is one bad day. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like, to me, when you have like a certain level of wisdom, you have a certain level of humility, a certain level you're trying to carry yourself and you're trying to present yourself a certain way. It's like you always have to be on guard at all times. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, it said you have to. You got to guard your heart and your mind. You got to guard these things. You got to be on guard. So it's like, in a way, and especially what I'm learning in one of these episodes we get into is about leadership, right? And the things about leadership, and I'm learning some things. It's like, being a leader is really hard because you're not really allowed to have off days. You can't really have off days where people can sit back and be like, like we give you grace, we give you mercy. A real leader, if you have a bad day, it's knives out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's up. We coming after you. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford to have a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Look at Kirk Franklin. Even though he did have some grace when he did that with his son. Oh, now everything is viral. They don't really give you grace nowadays when you make mistakes as a leader, bro. And so it's like you actually have to be careful because, like you said, it only takes one bad day.
So let me ask you this: as a leader, though, as a leader,
right?
Do you deserve grace as a leader? Because
No,
somebody will pose
absolutely.
that question. So you feel like a leader deserve grace?
Everybody can have grace. We all fall short. That's what the word said. We all fall short. So it's what it is to me being surrounded. That's why, like when Jesus had them disciples, had them people in your circle, it was just so vital because I understand the structure of it. I understand having the chief adjutant. I understand having these people around you that's going to try to protect you so that you don't have public displays of your bad day. You know what I'm saying? That's why I appreciate you. I tagged y'all on Facebook. It's just some certain men in my life that I'm just grateful for because y'all keep me accountable. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep me accountable. So even when I have my bad days, I know that I can come to you. You'll encourage me. You'll sharpen my iron. I go to my brother, you know what I'm saying, Naughty. He sharpen my iron. You know what I'm saying? I can go to my brother Rick, sharpen my iron. My brother Gary, he sharpen my iron. You know what I'm saying? So that's the cool part about it. Like when you get dull and you down, you're gonna need that grace. You know what I'm saying? I can tell everybody, I don't profess to be perfect, bro. I got tons of flaws, man. Tons of flaws.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the reason why I asked is because when we look at certain things from the human perspective, and I think last year that's one of the things, the biggest thing that I learned last year is looking at things from other people's perspective, not looking at everything or every situation from my only point of view. I've learned to understand or try to understand from your point of view, and not just have that judgmental mindset saying that, oh, you can be telling me this, oh, you wrong. Well, how is he? How is she? How is she wrong? Let me first understand where they're coming from first before I pass their judgment to find out, oh, they're right or wrong. So I look at things from people's perspective. So somebody can look at it from the leadership perspective per se and say, hey, as a leader, you should know better. You should know how to do this. Because shout out to Trayon White.
Okay.
I love this guy, Trayon White, man. I salute him because I feel like he has a voice for the people. He's an advocate for DC as far I want to say he's a councilman for Ward 8. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, forgive me. But I know he's been doing a lot of good in the community. But some scandals or some stuff came to light about him where he took some money or bribes. We ain't just talking about no short change, but a couple of thousands of dollars, a lot, enough to where the FBI or somebody had him, they had him tapped. And when I seen it, my heart was, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know him personally. I've never met him in life, but I respect him and I follow him whenever I even actually went and looking for him on Facebook and on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Instagram. And I actually followed him because that's how much I admire him. He's probably younger than me, way younger than me. But the fact of the matter is that I respect what he was doing and what he's still doing, right? When I found out that he had got caught up, I was hurt. And the reason I was hurt is because I had put him on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I put him on a very high pedestal because I felt every time he speak, I feel him because he's genuinely for the people, but he made a mistake. Which I'm sure if it's true, even though even though he's on camera, everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law.
That's right.
In the eye of the public, they've already condemned him as somebody that has, been found guilty.
That's the way of the world, baby.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is what it is, right? But when I seen that, I said, dang, bro, I don't like political people. I respect them and what they do, but I've never been the type to, if you in any type of house, seating, council, whatever, I respect you because I feel like you're doing some type of good work.
Right.
But with this particular individual, I had so much respect for him, right? And when he did that, I was like, damn, man, I hope this ain't true. Dang, man, I hope he ain't really do it, because I had him at a high pedestal. And I knew in my heart when I first started following him, when he first got elected, he was young, real young when he got elected. I said, man, they're going to try to set bro up.
Yeah, yeah.
So when he did get set up, I was like, dang, you should know better. But then I started going to the human side and want to view things from other people's perspective. You know, he's human too. Man, my cousin said this is the best. He said, we was talking about when I went back home to Ghana, and I was like talking to him, and I was like, man, you know, how can you trust somebody to you send money back home for them to build a house for you, right? He was like, yeah, you can send the money to somebody back home to build a house. He said they're gonna build their house and send me pictures of somebody else's house, say that this is your house, but then when you come down there, you ain't even got no land to even start building the house on.
Right.
So I said, dang, that's messed up. You know, that's messed up. He said, hey, I'm your brother. He said, I'm your brother. He said, if you bring me money to build your house, I'm telling you now, I will eat some of that money, or I will take some of that money.
Wow. Wow.
But he was being honest. He's like, it is what it is. He said, you know, I'm human. I'm not about to say and tell you that I'm be able to use, you know, all $100,000 to build your house. He said, man, I'm gonna have to put some money in gas. I'm gonna take some money to buy food on the way of going. I'm gonna stop doing what I got to do to make sure I got food on my table, to make sure your stuff is straight. It is what it is. So then I was like, you know what?
He kind of lacked perspective on that a little bit.
I mean, to be honest with you, you have to be from Africa and Ghana.
No. Don't get me wrong. I get what he's saying, but what he should be saying is those are business expenses.
Okay, yeah. So as far as that wording wise, yes,
they're business expenses.
You should have worded it differently to make it sound.
Yeah.
You know, they say sometimes when you're too transparent, he was just letting you know what it was. You know what I'm saying? So when back to Trayon White, I was like, he's human. Name somebody that hasn't. Come on, we can go back from.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? We can go far back to
Peter. Let's just say Peter. Peter's a perfect example, right? Peter was filled with the Holy Ghost, turned around, and did the exact same thing that he did before he had the Holy Ghost. Yeah. And that's the reason why I don't understand Christian people that's judgmental.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know, we know people, Bible thumpers, and people that'll bring up the law of Moses and all these different things, but you turn around and live a sinful life. You turn around and do things that's counterproductive of the very same thing that, you know what I'm saying? You saying that these are the things that you telling people they're supposed to believe in and live by. But that's also the reason why Christ came along, because now it's like I'm gonna live this thing and try to live it with grace and faith and not just according to the law, because we're going to keep failing. We're going to keep falling.
Yeah, and so, you know, when I tell you, last year alone, I learned so much. You know what I'm saying? It came from, it just came out of nowhere. When we talked about, I think last year we started off just like this, talking about, you know, what we've been going through and what we've been doing. Yeah. And you talked about, man, you know, I've been on that side of that mountain.
Yeah.
And it didn't really hit me. I didn't understand. I understand what you were saying, but I didn't really understand what you were saying. Now I understood what you were saying, because I've been on that side of the mountain. You know,
hey, do me a favor real quick. I'm sorry. Before you go any further than that, because I think more people really need to hear it, I think you have to, I was trying to text you, but I think we logged out on Facebook.
Yeah.
I jumped on a page. So I don't know if you got to minimize your screen and log back in on Facebook, because even when I first came in, it said it lost access to Facebook. But I know that when I jumped on the page on Facebook, I was trying to see if we was on there. But so I just want the people to hear your voice, man. I want the people to hear what you had to say, man, because I think it's very powerful, impactful. And although I know this is the pre-relaunch, you know what I'm saying? Like it's still nuggets in all of it, man.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Yeah, I don't want to just be limited to one area. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's give it. If we going, we like you said, we doing it. Let's do it. Let's do the pre-relaunch because you're funny. It's funny. You know why? Because like you said, we started just like this. We
Yeah.
just like this. That's why I'm looking all shaggy and crazy. Thank God I look a little bit better than I did last time. Hey, look, man, I'm gonna tell you that. Like, you told me that before. I said, "Yo, go back and look at that video when we first did that, man. I look like I just came out the backside of that desert."
Yo.
Thank God. Don't get me wrong. I'm still be going through some things, man, and still going through these little desert moments. But I thank God it's not an extended stay. I was on the extended plan last time.
Man, who you telling?
Yes, sir.
All right, I think I got a code now. Hold on. It says that's one code.
Yeah, let me check the page. I just really want the people to feel the impact of what you're about to say, man. And if you get a chance to check this out, I mean, this is also important reason why we ask anybody that want to love on us and support this channel to please just like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get the notifications when they come up. We're humbled, we're honored and grateful that you would entrust us to even bring you words of encouragements and testimonials and things like that to really empower each other, you know.
Dang, why is it not letting me? Dang.
Hey man, if it don't work, then you don't have to stall it. You know what I'm saying? But maybe we could just load it up on later. I don't know how that would work, but
Yeah, I can load
I don't
it up.
want you to lose your train of thought either.
Yeah,
I don't
load
want you to lose the vein that you in. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to lose that.
Hello, I think this might be it.
But that's the reason why I'm glad we're working it out now. You know what I'm saying? So when we get there, we already set up and we're ready.
I don't know what the heck is going on, but I think. Dang, man. I'm getting old, man.
Bro, I can't wait till we get into some of these topics, bro.
Here we go.
I can't wait because there's certain things you want to share the light and put a light on, but at the same time, like you said, you want to speak truth to things because what they said, the word comes to correct. The word comes to edify and build up. You know what I'm saying? So and it's supposed to pierce the very soul. So, I want to have some real candid, honest conversations, and it's going to hurt some people's feelings. Some people might not want to listen to it, or might turn it off. I don't know, but one of the things we want to talk about is this daggone election, man.
Oh, the election?
Yeah. That's definitely one of the things I want to talk about because I don't understand. I really wanted to do it and start it up before the election just to get it out there. But, to God be the glory. It is what it is.
I think I got access to that. Okay, I think we back on.
Okay.
Let me see. Yup. Got it.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Yeah, definitely got it now. All right. I think we good.
All right.
Let me double check real quick.
Yes, we live. Yep, I see it on here. Yep, I see it. Yes, sir.
All right, so as long as you see it, that's good. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yep, it's on there. Yes, sir. We got it.
Okay, yeah. All right. So yeah, man. So if you're tuning in, welcome to Finding Orders Podcast. Named Kojo. Got my co-host Aaron. Just kind of like chopping it up, getting reconnected. to what we started last year. Thank you for all those who did subscribe, started following us, following our Facebook page at Finding Notice Podcast on Facebook, Finding Notice Podcast on YouTube. Thank you so much for following us, man. Sorry that, things fell apart, but, sometimes you have to take a step back to take giant steps forward. So just trying to get back in the groove of things. So we're doing a kind of like a just an off script conversation. And for those who are just tuning in, we kind of like talking about grace with leadership. Kind of like I asked Aaron, like, do leaders really deserve grace? Because somebody would say, well, they have a lot of knowledge. I think we look at our leaders as they have a lot of knowledge and they have a lot of wisdom, so they should know better to some degree. And Aaron's position was, yeah, everybody deserves grace, right? I think that's kind of like, well, we was kind of like going on with the conversation, just to kind of like get everybody caught up. But if you are tuning in, welcome to Finding Notice Podcast. We going in with it, the conversation, but in a way where we take something from it and not in a positive way and not in some type of negative aspect of the conversation.
Yep. And if you missed the first part of the conversation, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel because it started over there. We didn't even realize that it wasn't connected to Facebook. So, like and subscribe over there as well so you can get the notifications as well. And again, we want to thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, so going back to the what I was saying, if I can even remember, we was talking about go ahead.
You was talking about the backside of the desert, the revelation that you had.
Yeah, so when we started a podcast last year, for those who really followed us last year, right? When you watch the very first episode, and the reason why I like the podcast is not because I want to be on social media. I really try to shy away from the social media thing. I might post and I might hit the like button, but if you see me post on social media, it's something either funny or it's something that I ask questions about to see people's reaction. Because now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to learn as much as I can from people and from their perspective without passing judgment. I've made that mistake last year, especially last year, where I've made so much mistakes and, I've passed judgment, and the Bible and the scripture tell us that judge unless ye be judged. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to keep it all the way at 100, then that's just what I have to do. I have to be honest with myself first before I can be honest with anybody else. I was prejudging people because I had so much expectation for people. I've always put people at a high pedestal. So when people let me down as a human being, I always pass judgment on them. So when I saw things like that, I was seeing things from a perspective of a miseducation, a misperception that everybody should be put at a high pedestal, which is not the right thing for me as a human being to do, because as we know, people can let you down. But when we started a podcast last year, right, we had one of these off scripts conversations or episodes, right, to kind of like introduce the podcast. And when we started, I asked Aaron a question. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? What you been up to? What you been on? And he was like, man, I've been on the other side of the mountain. And when he said it, it didn't hit me. It didn't resonate with me. I heard exactly what he said, but it didn't resonate with me until I found myself on that dark side of the mountain. And that's when I said, man, this is what he was talking about when he said he's been on the other side of the mountain. And as a believer, or anybody that's rooted in the word, or started this journey of becoming a believer, you will find yourself. Majority of us find ourselves on that side of that mountain, and I think that's what most Christians call it backsliding. Right? I think they call it backsliders to some degree, where they holy. Then
I don't think most Christians know what backsliding is. Let's just be honest with you, man. Even when they were saying it back in the day, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the back in the day term. It's an old school term.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because even back then, I really just think they had this misconception with black backsliding is, because those same people, and this is the reason why when we was talking, I feel like Christians should never judge people, because the Bible said what? Take heed unless you fall, right? So when you look at other people and you start judging other people, and you're like, oh, he's a backslider, like, when did you had your life figured perfect out? Planned perfect. That's why I never said we wanted to talk about your boy. You said you like him. I forget his name right now, man. The pastor.
Who?
And I said, yo, the pastor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Yeah, hey, look, I like him too to a degree. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I like him too to a degree because he talks word, but at the same time is a little, like I said, we'll get into that. You know what I'm saying? But what if you the Bible says we sin daily. We sin daily. So who am I to sit back and say just because you went through your backside of the desert and you learning? Because the Bible says also, if you've done it to the least of them, you've done it unto me, right? I can't look at you on your backside of your desert. The only thing I do is pray you through. All I can do is just like, if you ever reach out or whatever happened, because we reached out to one another every now and then. I'm like, maybe, and then what I'm saying, I'm gonna hit you with some encouragement. I'm gonna try to make sure you stay empowered. I'm gonna make sure you stay strong as you go through that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit back and talk about you. But that's what I say. I don't even think they know what backsliding was back then, because I guarantee you, as soon as they left out of that Sunday service, I watched the other day, don't be a minister South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, right? And then the old ladies was in there battling and stuff like that. They was dancing in the church. Yeah, as soon as church over with, Sister or Mother Mary over there in the back talking about Sister Shirley's cornbread in the back or something. That's a sin. Like, come on, bro. Just because yours is not showing, that doesn't necessarily mean that you ain't going through it. That means you ain't free neither. But I applaud you, and that's why I said, like, I love you. Like, I applaud you for having the courage and the strength to go through that. And not only that, now that you're out of it, the testimony that you get ready to finish telling and the fire that you have on you because you decided to do it. Because I know grown people that's older than you, bro, and me, that still is not willing to go through it.
And it's not an easy process to go through. It's a very uncomfortable process because when you find yourself in that situation, that's when the devil plays that mind game on you. Like okay, so put it like this. When I tell you I was on that dark side of that mountain, right?
Yes, sir.
When I got up in the morning, I found it very hard to even say, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. When I tell you I was on that dark side of the mountain, I found it very, very hard to even say, God, thank you for keeping my kids safe.
Yes.
When my daughter's school, when the school up for my daughter's school, when that shooting happened in Georgia, I think a couple of months ago, I forgot the name of the high school. Forgive me, I forgot the name of the high school. And we got that phone call. I said, oh man, I'm glad she's good. But it's literally up the street from my daughter's high school. It could have been her high school. I didn't even say, God, thank you so much for protecting her. You get what I'm saying? So when I tell you that dark side, that side of that mountain is not a joke. It's not it's not a place where you want to find yourself, but it's the place where you find yourself and you find your belief in God. You don't want to find yourself there. But when you find yourself, when I say find yourself, remember he said in the book of Jeremiah, he said, the day that you search for me with all your heart, I believe it's Jeremiah chapter 10. I want to say Jeremiah chapter 10.
Go ahead, keep talking. I'll look it up for you. Go ahead.
I think it's Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 11, 12. He says, for the day that you search for me with all your heart, I will bring you back from the places that I allow you to be held captive at. You will pray with me, you will pray for me, and your prayers will be heard by me. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of hope in the future, or something along that line. I may be wrong, but I think it's along that line. When I found myself on that side of the mountain, bro, it's different than depression. So you have a depression, which is something that is totally different. I'm not trying to compare the two. And I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm trying to say. There's a difference between depression, which I don't take lightly, and then there's the difference between being on that dark side of that mountain as a believer. As a believer, when you find yourself on that side, it's like you're operating in darkness. You're no longer operating in light. Everything that you stood up against, you now become you conforming to that.
Right.
I was
Jeremiah 29:13, buddy.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jeremiah 29. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was confirmed when we did the podcast. I was talking about the 90% churches. I was talking bad about the churches. I was talking about the pastors stealing money and the pastors sleeping with. I was talking about all that. I even had a particular pastor I used to talk about, right?
Right.
But if somebody is tuning in to the Final Notice podcast and it's a non-believer,
right,
and they say, you know what? They came across this podcast and he's talking about how bad these churches are. Not uplifting the churches, but he bad-mouthing these churches, right? How then this non-believer would then say, you know what? I want to go to church. He's not. He's not going to want to go to church. If I'm talking how bad the churches are, what makes you think that he's going to go to church?
right.
So then I started thinking. I said, okay. So then am I really criticizing the church, or am I condemning Christ? Because Christ is the church, right? He said, men, love yourself as I, Christ, love the church.
That's right.
We have God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, right? He's the body of the church. Christ has become the body of the church.
Right.
So if I'm talking down about the church, who am I talking down about then? Am I talking about men who's supposed to represent the church, or am I talking about the church in general? I never clarified the two. I never once in the podcast ever said, oh, I'm talking about the people that are supposed to be representing the churches. I was talking about the church.
Right.
And how the church was stealing people money. And I hear that all the time. And I bought into that because I'm like, oh yeah, you know, these pastors buying Lamborghinis and da. If I'm a non-believer, I'm not going to that church. I'm not putting no money in nobody's collection plate.
Right.
So then I started thinking, I said, man, am I judging? Am I really judging Christ? Who am I as a creation to judge who created me, or who's giving me life, or who's supposed to be my saving grace? Who am I to judge that being?
Right.
So then I started to think, and I said, dang, man, I'm wrong. So I remember when you talked to me about, hey, man, we should try to get this podcast started. And I said, podcast? I said, man, I can't start nothing unless I ask for forgiveness.
That's right.
And it took me a while. It took me a long time. So if you guys are wondering why, the podcast, we stopped doing episode, is because I became every little thing that I was talking about speaking up against. I became that. I became the ugly side of the quote unquote the believer that, you know, that talks bad about the church. I was that person. I became that person who was like drawing people away from Christ. So it's like I had to retract. I had to go back. I'm like, hold on, God, I'm wrong. Forgive me. But then when I'm asking for forgiveness, that's when the devil started playing everything else in my mind. How he gonna forgive you? You did this. How you gonna forgive you? You said that. How you gonna forgive you? You said this. And I just say, you know what? I asked for forgiveness, and I have to believe that God has forgiven me in order for me to come back out to start speaking, to be able to help build somebody up. So it wasn't an easy road for me to say, oh, when you said I've been on that backside of the mountain, it wasn't easy for me to understand that because I hadn't experienced it. But once I experienced it, it was like, oh, this is what he meant. It's not a place where it's for the you have to be blessed to be able to get out of that side. Because I know a lot of us that are believers, when we get on that side, we feel like, all right, that's it, and we get trapped in that darkness. But it was quite of an experience.
Yeah, man. And you know what I've learned? Most of those people are insecure. It's just like Kanye West said, we all subconscious. I'm just the first to admit it, right? But what I found out is, and like I said, the things that I learned about leadership, the things that I experienced just recently, right? Last several months, some things I told you about. What I realized is that a lot of people sometimes prematurely accept these positions, right? Some people have like a root of rejection. You know, some of these people have so many like abuse or hurt things that's going on inside of them And what they do is they walk into these places and they go into these places and they're not totally healed themselves. They're not totally fixed and have themselves together. And that's the reason why I said that's why we have to have grace on everybody. Because we don't know what people are going through. We don't know what they're dealing with. We don't know what avenues, like you said, that they are willing or not willing to take to get to that process that they saying. But all I know is that we have to have grace on them, because I know that even now to a certain degree, I still duck mine. There's certain aspects of it I duck. It's not nothing like serious or not major, but like I remember years ago, I was working at the school, and the people around me, we started praying together. We started doing certain things. And then the lady was like, man, I can't wait till you get to church. I'm going to be the first one in there. I just look at her like she lost her mind. Like, man, what? Nobody want to deal with that. Like, I don't want to start no church. Are you crazy? But today I can say I'm a completely different person. I'm of a completely different mindset, because I understand the need now more than my own self. You know what I'm saying? I understand the things that need to take place. I see so many people being taken advantage of. But like you said, but those also are those people, they call them set gifts. Like those people was appointed in those places, and God placed them in that places for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody got to bring the people back in. Somebody got to get them back. Somebody with a real heart, a sincere heart, and a pure heart has to bring them in. And that's why I think the story of Caleb is so important in the Bible, because up until when his name was mentioned, you don't see him nowhere in there. But he said, "What? Not until you have a heart like Caleb." And they're like, "Dang, well, who's Caleb?" Well, all of a sudden, he's just coming out of there. Somebody that was just doing the work. Somebody that had a pure heart. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that was willing to go through the process. Someone that probably was like, you know what? Yeah, I know I got these little insufficiencies and things like that, but that's the reason why I'm going to surround myself with wise counsel. I'm going to surround myself with people that's going to hold me accountable. People that's somebody that's going to keep encouraging me and help me uplift my honor and my integrity, because realistically, those are the things that's missing today. Even when you're telling what your people, and you said that where's go back in Africa, the word that's missing in this world today is called integrity, and a lot of people just don't have that. Like you should be able to send me $100,000 and know that the $100,000 that you gave me, even with the expenses, the majority of it and what's going to do is going to complete the task that you sent me to do. And if there's any overages or anything like that, then look, this is what we have over, what you want to do with it. And I have to trust you, your heart and your judgment, even if you don't say, you know what, I like what you did. I like how you did this. You know what, you keep the rest of it. Even if you don't say that, know that I did what I'm supposed to have done with my integrity and with my honor to uphold the contract and the agreement that we had between you and me. But the thing is, it's so easy to not have accountability. It's so easy to not have integrity nowadays, that when you say things like that, when you hold people accountable, is like a dirty thing. It's like, oh, How dare you? How dare you try to hold me accountable? How dare you tell me something about me? Nah, I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah. And man, I'm trying to tell you, bro, like it's just weird. It's just weird how it's weird how things come back in play, like how it comes back in full circle. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was talking about Trayon White, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that I don't know him. I've never met him. I would love to meet him one day, to sit down with him and talk to him, because I do a lot of the community activism and stuff like that and community work. So I always like to ask somebody else that's doing it, like, what jump started you? What made you feel like you need to do what it is that you're doing? So I definitely would love to sit down and talk to him. But when I found out about his situation, I was really hurt, because I had put him in that seat. I had put him in that seat. It's like, man, this guy right here this is it right here. This is that blueprint. You know what I'm saying? A young guy wanted to make a change in his community. He gets in the council. He's a councilman of Ward 8, one of the toughest areas in DC. He's trying to make a change. And then boom, something like this happened. And it's like, now everybody's like, oh yeah, get rid of him. Forget all the good work he did. Get rid of him. And that's why I asked her, I said, should leaders get grace?
Absolutely.
And I feel the same way too. I feel like they should give grace, but then somebody would say from their perspective, well, he knew better, but then we forget that he's also human too. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said I learned a lot last year and I'm still learning but what I learned last year was to not judge people and try to look at people's situation from their perspective and as to why they did that or why they said that. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I cut a lot of people off last year, man. My cutoff game is ridiculous, bro. Man, I ain't even gonna lie to you, man.
Necessary.
Man, with a straight face, man. Like I'll cut you off quick, man. Only because and the reason why I cut people off, like I know people say, oh, I cut them off. I cut you off, but I cut you off in a point where I will make you feel uncomfortable every time I come around. That's how I cut people off. In the most respectful way, though. I don't call you and it won't be no rah-rah or it won't be no animosity. But I'm a Virgo. We operate differently. When we love hard. When we loyal hard. When we friends, the friendship is serious.
Right.
But when you cross that line one time.
Cross the gun line, boss.
Man.
Cross the gun line, boss.
Call an EMT. Medics. Clean up in aisle 5.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate with that, though, right?
Who's that?
I wonder with the statement that you just made, right? I kind of forgot it because it made me think about crossing that gun line.
Bro,
but it's all good though. Go ahead.
But I had to.
Yeah,
because the thing is, I was telling you earlier before we got on, I was like, one of the things that I have learned to value so much is my peace.
Yes,
peace
sir.
Of mind. Because you can have everything in this world. You can have everything in this world, but if you don't have peace in your life, no matter how much money, how much success you have, or what you think you got, it means nothing to you. And that's why when I no disrespect to these people, but when I see these wealthy superstars and celebrities be going through all of that, I be like, man, oh, that's just a rich man problem. I don't even care to hear none of that because I understand what it is that you're going through. Only because I know with success, it's the loneliness that comes with that success because you isolate yourself from people. You isolate yourself from reality because you can't come to this reality because you know people are going to be having their hands out. People are going to be nitpicking you. They're going to be following you, everything you do. You can't even you can't go to the bathroom without somebody taking pictures and coming in there and say, hey, la, la, la. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you miserable. You successful, but you're miserable. Okay, yeah, you can go to different islands and stuff like that. But guess what? They're going to be right there in the back of their playing with you. So when you get off, they get off, they're playing with you too. They know so they know your every move, right? So it's like, I value my peace. So I've never been type to say, you know what, I always want to be in the crowd. I come home every year. Before I moved down to Georgia, when I was in the DC area, in the DMV area, we adopted families every year for the last 5 years. The lowest we've done was one family this past Christmas. Every year is about 3 to 5 families. We adopt them every year, and I stay in contact, and I still have contact numbers for these families, right?
And I also wanna boast in you through Christ, because I know most of the time you did that. You did your own. You spent your money. You ain't spend donation money. You spent your money out of your pocket. That's what I know that you have done. You and your wife. So that's what big ups to y'all, man. Big ups to you.
But see, I wasn't even going to go to that. I don't even because
no, you're not supposed to. That's why I'm here. I'm gonna do it for you, my friend. I'm gonna do it for you because I admire you for that, man. That's amazing.
I appreciate that because even though I make myself accessible to communities, right? I do everything I got to do for the community when I can and when I have the means to do it. I'll do it, right? But right after I do it, I'll go back to my hole. Right after I'm done doing my community service and my community work and supporting these families and doing what we have to do in the community, I go back to my hole. And the reason why I did that was because I became too accessible for people.
Yes.
I became too accessible where they were either playing with me or just saying stuff, and I'm looking at them like, hold on, like what is this coming from? Like, why
I'm
you
keeping my
talking
name.
to me? Why are you talking to me like this? Or why are you saying this about me? Or what may give you that impression? You know what I'm saying? So then I started thinking, I said, okay, I think I'm too accessible for people. And it was
Wow.
starting to really mess with my peace of mind. So I said, you know what? I got to find a way to be able to still do what I got to do for the community, but then pull back. And
Right.
when I tell you I learned to value my peace, I started to cut people off. And that cutoff game is like me pressing the power on the PS5 or the light switch in the house and the light come on and the light go off because I didn't have time for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially
Right.
when I feel like you know you playing with me like you really playing with me like as if I'm a nobody like respectfully I'm somebody in my own world, but I'm not just about to let you play with my respect like that because I respect everything and everybody. But when it
Right.
comes to my peace of mind, when you cross that line, man, I'll cut my mama off. I will cut my mama off. For my peace of mind, I will cut my mama off. And
That's
everybody know I'm
right.
a mama's boy. But what I'm
That's
telling
right.
you is because I would not let my mom come and stress me. I don't even know how y'all let your mamas even rule your relationships and your marriages and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying?
You're going somewhere
No,
with
no,
it. You're going somewhere with it.
no. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you know how you be
Yeah.
when you married, you hear, oh, I can't stand his mother. Oh, I can't stand her mother. Oh, I can't
Right.
stand. Man, I'm trying to tell you. Let my mother jump out there and she not saying she will. I'm
Right.
not
Right.
saying
Right. Right.
I'm just saying if I was in a situation where I felt like my mom was not giving me peace in my household, oh, okay.
I'll tell you some funny diabolical thing that my brother did, but to me it was ingenious, right?
I want to
And
hear
I
it.
kind of wish I had his level of insight, even though he did it wrong. It was weird.
Mhm.
And he'll tell you himself because he don't really care. He said, man, you ever sit back and wonder why you don't see my kid's mother at none of these family functions that we be having? He said, I get in arguments and fights with her on purpose so she don't come around. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what? That's crazy. He said, yeah, but that was his way of protecting her. So
Wow.
in order to protect her, because like I said, we really didn't have a lot of good examples of things like that, especially unfortunately from the men's side of my family to show us how we supposed to walk as men. You know what I'm saying? We were just left to figure things out on our own. So what he did was he said, I got in arguments and fights with her just so that she wouldn't even come. But that was his way of trying to protect her. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm with you on that, man.
Yo,
Exactly.
but that's just that's the level of that's the type of level of I'm the level I'm trying to get to protect my peace. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I told my mom, right? Because I'm single. I was like at the time the only one really driving and moving around in the family and stuff like that. I said, I don't know what you gonna do when I get married. You might not never see me. I don't know what to tell you because all this running around. I said you might be lucky if you see me once a week. I said, but it's nowhere in the world. I'm gonna be running around picking up medicine, going to the store, bringing y'all food, doing all this other stuff. I did it because it was like realistically, who else was gonna do it? I didn't really care. I didn't mind doing it at the time. It was just me and my daughter. As long as my household was straight and everything was together, I'm like, yeah, I got time to go over there and do that. But there's nowhere in the world I would ever sacrifice that and that's something I had to learn. That's something I definitely had to learn.
I mean, I mean, like I said, it's hard because we feel like we have to be there for people, but sometimes you gotta understand something. If you're not yourself in a situation where you're good, it's hard to help other people.
Yes,
And if
yes,
you don't have a peace of mind, how you gonna go help people? You can't because you have to be in a good space. You have to be in a space where you're able to take care of yourself before you can go help somebody else. You know what
that's
I'm
right.
saying? So it's not easy when you talk about something, having that, having everything given to you, or you haven't worked so hard for everything, but yet then you're lacking that peace. So
I had a friend of mine. I told her, I said, I admire you, and the reason why I admire you because your ideology of what family is, like you're willing to harm yourself and put yourself in harm's way for the good of your family. And because that is a high value that you put on that in your personal life. I was like, I remember at one point in time I used to be like that. Like I said, it was times I would get off work at like 2:30, and I'm running around for my family and doing stuff. I didn't even get home till like 8 o'clock at night. You know, like running people to the grocery store, doing different things like that. And I was like, man, I'm tired. Like, but that's what made me realize I got to take care of my home first, because I'm like, I can't keep my daughter out late at night. I can't do these things, and my daughter's not getting any rest, and not doing her homework and different things like that. But you know, like I said, I'm married because like that level of love that you have for your family, and to me sometimes it's not always reciprocated. It's like, yo, I pray that you find everything that you're looking for, and I hope that that is never tainted inside of you, because when your season and your time comes, you best believe, like, I pray that the blessings that come back on you double fold for you having that love and that willingness of sacrifice to your family is just multiplied and blessed, and that you actually receive the blessings of that. Who knows? She might change the dynamic of her whole family. You know?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's not easy, man. It's some of us we give ourselves to. We become targets.
Yes, like, absolutely.
We become targets for like so much, not just physical but also spiritual. Because when you go out there in the community to be a difference maker, a serviceman or a servicewoman to your community, you open yourself up to all the demonic spirits, all the different types of personalities. You taking on a lot that you probably didn't even think about before you put yourself in that situation. I remember when we first started the podcast, and I'm gonna go back.
Oh yes, Lord. Oh yes.
We had this conversation that, hey man, we got to stay prayed up, because we about to put something positive in the air, and we know nowadays negativity seems to be the right thing for people to do, more so than doing actually what's right. So we got to stay prayed up. Man, I was on that podcast talking like I had everything in order.
Yeah.
I felt like I was criticizing so much, and the same people that I was criticizing, I became.
Yes. Yeah.
I became the very own people that I was speaking against. I became them. So it's like, when you look at situations like that, you're like, hold on. Here I am talking about all these people, and now I become the same person that I was talking bad about. Right. So I'm telling you, I was prepared, but I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't prepared for the level of security I needed to put myself under.
Yes. You know but you know, that is the beauty of actually having a partner that prays and covers you, as well as while you know what I'm saying, as you do your partner. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of it, because like you said, those will be the parts where when she starts praying and hearing from God, she can come back and start talking to you and be like, hey, yo, bro, listen, you got this back door open over here. You need to, make sure that's covered over there before you start doing other things and getting this stuff together. You know what I'm saying? But that's the beauty in having somebody that's going to cover you. That's the beauty of having a partnership. So that you won't be running out there and just being high and dry and left a certain way. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's when they say that when heaven, like when one person gives their life to Christ, or that one soul is, one for the kingdom, that all of heaven rejoice. I mean, that's how I feel about your testimony, man, right now. It's like, I know God is sitting back like, yeah, that's my son right there. He good. Now I'm glad he went through that. Hey, we gonna rock out now, man.
I ain't felt like I was his son when I was going through it, man.
Oh yeah. But that's part of the process, though. That's part of the process, man. Because I tell people all the time, when with my ex-wife and the situation I went through, I literally had to tear my entire self apart. Like, people don't understand it. Like, even to this day, it's weird, because I'll talk to people sometimes, and I often wonder, I wonder if they think this is Aaron talking. Like, don't get me wrong, I do me. I got some things that's with me, but you want to know what those things are, right? Like, I got some stuff with me. But the positive things, the ambitious things, the vision, the drive, sometimes I wonder, like, when I speak and I say things, I wonder, and I hope that, like I said, I said this before, and when we was talking last year, and I'm glad it's recorded, I said, I believe Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper was like a gospel album to me, right? And I was wondering what the gospel would look like in today's world, right? And that Kendrick Lamar, he said, if I tell you who I am, would you judge me? No right or wrong, no stones just love to send me, right? Something like that, right? It's like one of my favorite songs because it's like one of those songs where you're being very vulnerable and you're open up. And you wonder if you be vulnerable, like, do you really see the God in me? The name of the song is called Die Hard. For anybody that want to go out and check it out, it's by Kendrick Lamar. He said, I'm a die hard. It gets ugly, too complicated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just all these different things that's going on. But often I wonder, like, do you know that what I'm saying and what I'm thinking is not necessarily coming from me, but the things that I was shown from a different or a higher vibration so that I can get to, like, because even like I have a friend of mine, right, reached out on Facebook. We went to middle school together. And I was talking to her about something that happened in middle school and in high school, went to high school together too. And I said, you know what? I really don't know you. And I had to sit back and realize, like, I don't know you. Like, so I would really, if I actually had the time, would have to sit down. And if I, like, as a friend, as a person that, you know, I had known and was cool with, I only know, like, the middle school you. I only know you from the little bit of interactions that I know from you in high school. And I realized, like, do people really know where these instructions and these things are coming from? Do people really know our heart, like where this stuff is coming from? So that's why I said, again, to go back to what you were saying, never look at a person or a book and sit back and be like, nah, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know where you are in your life. I don't know where you are on your journey. So I would never sit back and judge you for but that's also what I tell people when they say, I want you to love me for who I am. But who are you right now? Who you are this morning is not the person who you are at this very moment. The person, when you go to bed at night, the person that wakes up should be a whole different person from when you wake up. So why don't you just love me and see me for where I'm going and who I'm trying to be and the direction and things that I'm trying to accomplish, as opposed to looking at Aaron, the person right now, because I'm not a finished product. No one is. No one's a finished product.
You know, when I started this whole activism stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I lost a lot of friends, man. At least people I thought were my friends, man. Because I wanted to make a change in my community. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I lost a lot of friends. I'm talking about day one friends. Friends that I thought, you know, they call it the sandbox. You know, and I was cool with that because I always knew I was different. Right. Nobody in my neighborhood could tell me anything different. You know what I'm saying? Never been a sucker, never been none of that type of. They knew, like, all right, if something popped off, all right, I could handle my own. But I never belonged. I lived in the neighborhood, hung with the people that I hung with, be around people I be around with, did whatever I did around, but I always felt like I was different. But I knew I was really different when I started going through stuff and I kept coming out of everything that I was going through, but I was coming out wiser, stronger, smarter. I was just growing.
Right.
And I started seeing people around me still in the same place. Right? And again, I don't talk to brag. I never talk about to brag because you can't talk to me about poverty, because in America, poverty, you still have a house over your head. My poverty was living in the village,
right?
Lack of electricity. So you can't talk to me about, you know, man, I've been poor. All right, I slept with the scorpions. Where were you at? You get what I'm saying? When people talking about, oh, they had a heart. I'm like, oh yeah, you had a heart, but where were you at when I was eating that bush rat? Where were you at when I had to reheat the food from the day before in the same pot it was cooked on the stove the next morning, and I had to eat it in the morning before the afternoon so it doesn't go all the way bad. Where were you at? So I always knew I was different. So I never bragged about where I've been, where I'm at, and where I'm going. I never brag about it. If I do talk about it, it's to uplift the next person. My life, to me, is a blueprint for somebody to see and say, oh, I remember this guy right here. I remember when he was talking about he was from here. I remember when he got in trouble there. I remember he used to hang with those guys on that corner right there. But now I see where God is taking him. When I first got on TV, when I did the interview, the press conference with the state's attorney, and shout out
Right.
to Madam State Attorney Aisha Braveboy. Good luck in everything that you're going to be doing for the state of Maryland and the PG County. But when I started doing all of this stuff, I started losing friends, and they probably gonna sit there and be like, "Nah, you tripping." I'm not tripping. I'm not.
Right.
Because just because you say what's up to me when I see you doesn't mean we friends. Just mean that you
Mm.
acknowledge me and I acknowledge you back. You
Right.
never call and check up on me. That's not my friend. When you call and check up on me, that's how you been a friend. Yeah, I don't have to call you, ask you for money before you conversate with me. Just calling to check up on me. Say, hey, bro, I know you moved. How you? Everything okay with you over there? That's you being a friend. You checking in on me, right? When I come back home, I call these Bammers. I call their phones up. I say, hey man, where you at? You around the way? Hey man, I'm here. I'm back in the state. None of them answer the phone. And at first it used to bother me. I ain't gonna lie, it used to bother me a lot. But then I started saying, oh yeah, let me get this cutoff game real quick. So I got on my because I knew I was different. Different in the way where my friends, at least my people that I thought were my friends, they not like me and we not like each other. Right. And it
Mm.
was hard to accept because I grew up with a lot of these guys. I know a lot of these guys. And we all, grew up in the same area. But
Mm.
I knew I was different because the things that I wanted to do, the things that I was doing, a lot of them didn't, you get you working with the police. You goddamn right I'm working with the police. You know why? Because I got a kid at home. I want him
Right.
to be able to go to the park and play at the park without me having to worry about somebody coming around shooting up that joint and hitting my son with a stray bullet.
That's
You
right.
daggone right. You daggone right. I'm working with them to try to keep my community safe because I got a wife at home that got to come back in the nighttime with me not being home because I'm at work. And I want her to be able to walk in the door without having her being jacked up for her car or being jacked for her purse. So yeah, I started working in my community because I made it past that age of 25. So once I made it past 25, I knew I could make it to make it to 50.
But
So I
that's
can.
the amazing part, though. You can't make a change on the outside. You have to get them in. You
And
have
see,
to get on the inside to make a change. But what I will say is, I don't believe in systems neither. And it's going to sound like some anarchist type thing, but I believe that most systems, and if not all systems, need to be torn down. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I agree with you.
Because it was the way they were built and how they were built and what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like most city infrastructures are trash. You know what I'm saying? The pipings, that's why the grounds keep bursting. They got to keep repaving the roads and going this. And the most cities' infrastructures are trash, but it costs so much more money. That's why I just keep patching it up, patching it up, patching it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that's a part of a system that's been just so old. And man, I'm glad we brought this back up because I wanted to ask you a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I say I remember now about the devil's advocate part that I wanted to play on this, right? When you sit back and say leaders that been in spaces that try to hang on and cling on to old glory. Like when you run into the old people and stuff like that, like, oh, back in my day, yo, them times is gone, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would you say about them? Like, now I'm not saying you don't give them grace, whatever, but how do you
Nah,
attack or how do you deal with that part of it?
I think it all depends on how they're saying it and the way they're saying it. If they're saying it in a way to glorify it, then to me it's irrelevant. I talk about my past, but I talk about my past in a way where I was a detriment to my community. So I don't talk about it in a way where like I'm Frank Lucas. I
Mm,
sold drugs at Coppin State. I got locked up at Coppin State.
right, right.
I went just think about what I said. I went to college. I'm in college. I'm a college student. I went to classes when I did go to classes. But I got locked up as a drug dealer on campus. Now, if I'm telling this story to somebody and I say, yeah, man, I was selling drugs on campus, man, I was in Dead Man Hall pushing, going through 2 P's a week as $5 bags, $3 bags. But I was a college student and I got locked up as a college student. Where's the glory in that? So if I'm telling this story to a younger generation, I sound like a fool.
Mm.
Because I'm glorifying something that really, when you sit down and sit down, and be like, damn, boy, you was a fool. If they smart, they be like, oh, hey, you might want to stop. Hey, man, take that conversation down there. They got the right to sum me. You know why? Because what I'm saying makes no sense for me even to glorify it. Now, if I say the same thing, and I say, hey, man, I was a college student at Coppin State. I was going into my sophomore year, my junior year, man, trying to be a drug dealer on campus, man. I got locked up. I threw away my college education, threw away my mama's money, threw away my time, my mama's time. My brother driving from Pennsylvania to come down to Baltimore to take me to the Walmart on 20 to go buy me some oodles or noodles. All the time he came down there with my nephew in the car, cold, windows down, can't get the windows back up.
Right.
Man, it ain't even worth it. And if I'm giving that same conversation, I'm trying to big them up to the point where don't make the same mistakes I made. There's glory in that conversation. Mm-hmm. But if I'm glorifying me being an idiot, then guess what I am? I'm just an idiot. Because let me tell you what the judge said to me that day.
All right.
The judge said, where did this take place at? The state attorney said, Coppin. He said, yeah, I know Coppin. I graduated from Coppin University, the Baltimore accent. He old school guy. He said, I graduated from Coppin. My daughter's graduated from Coppin. You mean to tell me this is what Coppin State has become now? Are you saying he was outside of the campus on the corner, or you saying he was selling drugs in the dorms?
In the dorms.
They said in the dorms. And y'all raided the dorms? He said, yeah, the campus police raided it. He looked at me and said, son, you know how stupid you look right now? Was he a student? They said, yeah, he was enrolled. Did he finish? Hold on. It's about May. Oh, yeah, you're supposed to be taking finals right now. I said, yes, Your Honor. He said, boy, you stupid.
Yeah. But you know what? I stole drugs at Coppin. Very few, like Tyrone. I think maybe David knows. But I just thank God he never have a prison ministry for me. I had the little petty little whatever. Like, I didn't know anything. It was like realistically, the dude was taking advantage of me. I was trying to make some extra money when I was up there one time. He was sitting right at the front desk in Detman selling that stuff, man. And just like it was the perfect hustle for me because nobody really expected me to do anything like that.
But see,
but I would tell you what made me stop. What made me stop is, remember how we used to go to the gym all the time? Yeah. We used to ball and do certain things, but it was certain things we started doing. I was like, yo, all of my friends are getting high right now. Yeah. And it's not fun no more because all of them was getting high and I don't have nothing else to do. So I went back on the block and told old boy, I was like, nah, I can't do this no more, man. I ain't even having fun no more. All my friends getting high. I ain't got nothing to do. I was like, nah, I can't do that, man. I'm good. I'm good. I want to go play ball with my friends. Everybody was too high to go play ball.
The thing about that, and I'm glad you said that because remember going back to what I was saying when I said I know I was different amongst my friends. I had to experience these things, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had to experience these things. Like that conversation that the old head is going to be that you asked about, there's going to be talking like, hey, man, back in my day. I said there's two ways that conversation can go. It can go with him glorifying his stupidity.
Right.
Or he could be educating somebody else off his stupidity. Right. So it's all about how you go about it, but you have to have some type of substance in your conversation. My conversation with people is very, very it's limited because I told you I've learned how to make myself accessible and inaccessible at the same time. I give you a little bit of my time, enough for me to accomplish what I need to accomplish with you, and then I'm back. So you don't have me for the whole day. You'll have me for maybe 4 hours out of that day. You get what I'm saying? Because in order for me to have that conversation with you, I still have to experience something. So now it goes back to where we talking about, okay, now how can I talk about making these stupid decisions as an old head, right? And now I'm here. Now, if I'm here and where I'm at right now, it trumps where I was at before, then I'm not going to glorify that part because I worked so hard to get here. Now I can use my experience as an education tool.
Yeah. But that's the same reason why I don't even tell nobody that story. Like, I think this is the first time I actually said it openly because we were just on a topic, like, what, hey, whatever. And it made me think about that when you said that just now. But there's people that know me for like over 10 years and never knew that I did that. I don't even bring stuff up like that up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you. I get what you're saying. It's not even. It's not really even worth bringing up for real.
I'm like this, Aaron. People gonna try to expose you, right? People always gonna try to expose you. So I'm gonna do this. I always tell people I'm transparent because before you can tell me about myself, I'm gonna tell you about who I am before you can do that. So when you go, I'm free from it. Right? Because when you go write that little comment or you go gossip and say something, it ain't nothing new. I've been saying this.
Yeah, you can't use it against me because I'm free from it. So you can try to form it against me, but it's not going to prosper because it's empty. It's empty. Not even loaded. I'm not
I didn't say you got skeletons, man. Man, listen.
We all do. You know, just like I said, it's some people. That's why, like for instance, the LGBTQ community, right? Which is something that, again, I don't even never want to talk about really. But the reason why they receive
let me ask you this: why are people scared to talk about those people, man?
And I'm glad you asked. I'm not scared, but the reason why I don't do it, to me, is low hanging fruit.
What do you mean by that? What is that? What do you mean?
It's just easy. They're easy target. It's easy to talk about people when all of their quote unquote mess or sin, as Christian folks say, is on public display. But again, talking about people behind their backs is a sin. How many people you know sit around and talk about people and gossip? Gossiping is a sin. You feel what I'm saying? But you don't hear nobody talk about that because it's done in secrecy. You know, adultery, all the stuff like you said. You known pastors that was having affairs with their parishioners, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like, come on, but it's done in secrecy. So it really don't get talked about, and that's why I said like they get crucified when it becomes public knowledge. And the reason why they get crucified when it becomes public knowledge is because now all of your mess is out on display as well too. So that's the reason why I don't talk about the LGBTQ community, because it's low hanging fruit to me. Because, like I said again, we've all got flaws. We've all sinned. So why in the heck would I talk about theirs? But I would much rather talk about, like you were saying, in a healthy dialogue, the things that's happening on the inside of the church. I'd rather talk about that stuff first so that we can actually be a healthy body and be productive in how we're supposed to grow so that we can actually help people that's in need. So yeah, I'm not scared of it. That's why I would rather do it that way.
Yeah. Now I just feel like most people be like, to me, like I said, I've stopped judging people and started understanding people from their perspective.
Absolutely.
Because if you feel like this is how your life should be, by all means, live it to the fullest.
Do your thing, 21. Do your thing.
That's what I'm like, I don't really, it is what it is.
Dang, 21. and that's the same thing, like I said, like with these, that like I said, one of the topics I want to talk about is this Kevin Samuels stuff, right? And that I hate.
He's late Kevin Samuels, right?
God bless the dead. Yes, the late Mr. Kevin Samuels. I want to talk about him because he birthed this thing with all this alpha male nonsense, right? And I see all of these quote unquote alpha males talking about women, but to me, they might as well be gay the way they talk about women. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane. Like, do you even like women? That's crazy the way y'all talk about women like that. But here's the kicker. Y'all always talking about women, right? That y'all should not be interested in the first place, right? Yeah. Why would I have, if I'm an alpha male, why would I have a platform and then invite all of these women on this platform just to tell you how screwed up you are? But if I'm an alpha male, I'm worrying about my business. I'm worrying about where my focus is. And realistically, none of the quote unquote bad behavior that they are doing wouldn't even be on my radar.
Yeah.
Like my man Tom Will Anderson saying, Game of Thrones, lions don't bother themselves with the opinions of sheep.
Yeah.
So why would I take my time and waste it on things that is of no concern of me? Makes no sense to me, buddy.
Yeah, I see that. I be seeing it in podcasts, and I be seeing snippets on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and I just like, dang. All right, but if you feel like that, then if that's not the type of woman you go for, then talk about the type of women you do go for, and build
Yeah.
that. But it makes no sense.
But they will never say it. Because I'm gonna tell you why. You know why they will never say it? Because they be the same men that want them same girls. I'm telling you, it's just like the woman at the well in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
When all the people grabbed, I'm Mexican. No, not the woman at the well. But remember when all the dudes grabbed the girl and they threw her in front of Jesus, and they was like, "Yeah, we caught her being a heart," right? But how in the world would y'all know what she was doing if y'all wasn't with her?
Yeah.
You know what it seemed like to me? Just me just looking at these dudes in this landscape. Because remember I told you, it seemed like all the nerds and all the people that was like clowns and stuff in high school when they was younger, the people that never got chose for anything, and they always wanted the bad girl, but the bad girl would look at them and be like, "Nah, I don't want you. I want the bad boy over there." They seem like they the ones that's in charge right now. That's just me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, they seem like them same dudes that wasn't getting chose by the bad girl. They wanted the baddie, and they were like, "Oh, she's not choosing me, so now we're going to talk about her and make her feel bad about her decisions that she made." And I'm just like, "Look, Jesus, she was hoeing." But how in the world would you know if he wasn't there?
You know, that's
if he wasn't paying attention. How would you know?
That's a very interesting part of the Bible that I never really looked into like that.
Yeah, man. So now you got all of these dudes in the world, right? And they talking about trying to bash women and put women down, which I don't get. Right? I never understood that, like women that sleep with, that's promiscuous as hoes. I never understood that. Because if you sleeping with them, what that make you? I don't get it. What does that? It doesn't make no sense. So now it's like you talking about them, but y'all be the same ones on their Instagram page. Y'all be the same ones looking at their pictures. Y'all be the same ones out there. Oh my God, Googling over them. I wish I had a bad one like that. But you know what? She'll never choose you because the same reason why. Like my man Kendrick exposed Drake. He's still a goofy. No matter how many muscles you get, no matter how many suits you got, no matter how much money you make, you sit up there and you want to put rollers in your hair and you want to sit there and do this and the other, you're a goofy. Nobody respects that. You're only going to get a certain kind of woman. You will never get the type of woman you think you keep saying you want. You'll never get one.
Yeah, I never really I see it's one particular guy, I forgot his name, big dude. He be going, man, he worse than
I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about too.
He'll be going in. And I'm like, man, he's always going in on these women, but I want to know what his wife looked like or who he with. Because
all the people like that is gonna be the baddies out here, unfortunately, they're gonna be lonely. Like when we seen the thing the other day, Travis Kelce ex-girlfriend, the black girl. Like, do I look like I'm the type of person that go 50-50 on bills? Like,
oh, that's what she said?
Yeah. Do I look like the type that go 50-50 on bills? I was like, dang, like these people, that's that. You see it and you look at it, it's like, I feel bad for you. Like, I feel bad for you because the type of dude you're gonna want, and then you know what I'm saying, like even your mentality, how you carry yourself. You wouldn't even get the type of person you desire that you want because the 90% of the men that do things like that are very controlling and domineering. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They pay your bills and the other, but you're going to basically have to be a prostitute. You're going to do what they tell you to do, when they tell you to do it, how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then I heard Mason Cameron say, hey, yo, you saying you don't want to go 50-50 on no bills, but now he got somebody that can pay his bills. He got
I was just about to say, yo, you ain't doing 50-50, but she sure is doing 50-50 with him.
Yeah.
Maybe she did that 50-50.
Now you out of a potential mate and a person that has top
Foundation.
earning potential more than you,
Yeah.
and he basically traded up, and now he has somebody that has more earning potential than you. You know what I'm saying? Than himself.
Hey, why somebody sound look like Whoopi Goldberg?
Who's that? Who's that?
I don't know who's in the comments. Who this guy right here? Paul
Somebody
Peters.
comment?
Yeah, you can't see it. Go in the
No, I don't
comments,
see
yeah.
it. Let me see.
This gentleman said, "Why dude in the dress looking like Whoopi Goldberg granddaddy?" I might be related, man. Hey, man, look.
Oh,
Hey, if I do, hey, tell Paul, hey, hit her up and tell her to drop some money, man. Times is hard out here, man.
I can't even see the chat. That's
Oh
crazy.
man, that's crazy. Hey, man. Hey, but thanks for
Oh, I see
tuning
it.
in,
I
though,
see it.
man.
I see it. I see it. Yeah, I see it there.
Appreciate you tuning in, Paul Peters. Yeah, man. Hey, that's a good one. 2025 might be the best one. Hey, but hey, man.
But
Do
see,
me a
that's
favor,
the
man.
beauty about life, man. Hey, it's cool, man. I'll be that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I'll be that. You gotta
Hey,
learn how
man.
to. You can't be
That
in
was
these
a good one.
spaces and do that because it just like what we said earlier, man. We already know what's coming with this. We
Oh man,
already know what's coming with it, man.
listen, man. As long as you're gonna tune in, man, tune in, man.
You know what's
Yeah, man.
crazy?
What's that?
Hey, his picture ain't on there. He got a koala bear there.
Hey,
But
man.
that's what I said. That's why it's easy to ignore stuff like that. You know, it's so funny. Like it's easy to ignore. I'm gonna
Nah,
come on I'm gonna come on a public platform and say weird. Like it's funny. Don't get me wrong. It's funny. You know what I'm saying? Thank God we know how to laugh at ourselves. It's cool. But hey, man, it's whatever, man.
Yeah, man. But hey, man, appreciate you
That
tuning in.
mess
Hey,
around
man.
be Glenn. That mess around be Glenn's burner account.
Nah, Glenn go hard. He ain't about to. Glenn ain't about to create no burner account. If they would say, I already know.
You right. You right. That's my man,
Like,
though.
all right.
All right.
Yeah,
Ta ta
man. Yeah.
ta.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man. But yeah, welcome to Final Notice Podcast, man. We just wanted to kind of like get things kind of like started, man. We know we having these conversations, just trying to find a positive aspect of certain things that we go through in life and trying to help,
Oh my
as much
God.
as
It's
we can.
12:30.
Yeah, man. Time is flying.
Yeah. Hey, man. I gotta get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, bro.
Yeah, who you telling, man? But yeah, man. Hey, man, we definitely going to get this thing started, man. Just kind of like want to do a quick run, real quick. Thanks for all those that tune in, man. We definitely got some stuff lined up, man. Some good conversation lined up that we're going to be getting into, man. But yeah, man.
But see,
Hey,
that's the reason why, like, I love healthy dialogue and conversations, man. And that's the reason why I like the way we form this platform, and it's just based on conversations. You know what I'm saying? So, um, that means we all can learn from it. Hopefully, if we have open minds and humility in our hearts, and we can learn from one another. It's not to say that I know everything. You know what I'm saying? That I've reached a certain high level of frequency or whatever the case may be. No, I haven't. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still willing to learn from anybody and everybody if you have a right spirit and perspective. You know what I'm saying? I don't entertain nonsense though.
Nah, I'm with you on that, man. But yeah, man. All right, man. I'm going to let you get up out of here, man. We definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely got some lineups coming up.
Yeah,
If you
can't
haven't
wait.
If you haven't followed us, go ahead and follow us on Finding Notice Podcast on YouTube, Finding Notice Podcast on Facebook, and we about to try to get it on TikTok too as well. So stay tuned for that, where we're going to be going live on TikTok too as well. But if you want to go back and check our previous episodes, man, it's all on our platform. It's on our website, on the YouTube channel, and also on our Facebook page. You can always go back and watch all the episodes that we did from last year. And then, leave us a comment. You can also reach out to us if you want to email us directly. If it's something that you're going through that you have a question about, you can always reach us at findingotispodcast@gmail.com. If you want to stay anonymous, you can do so too as well. But you can always message us and, whatever questions you have. If there's a conversation or if there's a question that you have that we can bring on the pod, we'll definitely bring it up there and then we'll, answer it for you too as well.
Also, I wanted to say, if you're doing something positive in the community and you feel like it'll be a blessing to other people in a positive way, reach out to us. We would like to have a conversation with you on a platform, because what we want to do is like a community spotlight on certain days and stuff like that. We want to interview you, and we don't mind putting your business out there or your nonprofit or any of the works that you're doing. We want to put it out there in the community. That's why we had conversations with like Devin last year with I9 Sports, and it's all about impacting the community. You know what I'm saying? We want to do different things to spotlight people, to get your information out there so that we can further expound the community and benefit the things of our people in our communities.
Yeah, no problem about that. I'm totally down with it. And if you know somebody that have a business that we can highlight to as well, man. Hey,
Yeah, send an
send them
email
our
right
information
down the screen. Right down the
right
screen.
there.
Send an email. Yep.
Reach us at foundingotispodcast@gmail.com. I definitely got a young lady that I want to talk to in here. She started her own business last year, and I think it's really important for moms. So stay tuned. We're going to get her on here. Already talked to her to kind of like get her on the podcast. We can have an episode about women and business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what they're doing too as well. See help our communities out. All right, man.
I love you, brother. This was great. I can't wait till we get back and running, baby, full speed.
I appreciate you, man.
Yep. Take it easy, man. Good night.
Yep.